What's going on, guys? So in this video we're going to be talking about some fresh fragrances that I like to wear in the cooler weather. Not necessarily extremely cold, but not just fall season either. More fall and winter fragrances. Some of these are very aromatic. Some of these have a dominating citrus. Some of these are blue fragrances. This is my favorite time of year for blue. A lot of different blue fragrances for sure. And I have 10 of these fragrances that I want to discuss with you. Because not everybody likes super spicy, very boozy, or heavy tobacco fragrances. Sometimes you just want something on the fresher side, regardless of if it's hot or cold. So I want to talk to you about these 10. Stay tuned. Starting with one that's actually a fantastic blue fragrance that does not get a lot of love. It is one of those infamous L'homme flankers from YSL. This is L'homme Le Parfum. This is some really good stuff. There's a bit of geranium and violet leaf here that gives kind of this bright, fresh, slightly aquatic, metallic tone. And regardless of the notes in here, I don't know if it's because of the amber wood and vetiver, but it gives a lot of woodiness, and it still kind of has almost that creamy, gingery type of smell of the original, but it's not quite exactly the original because the notes are a lot of freshness and spice and woods, and yeah, it's got a lot of that. Don't get me wrong. You definitely get hits of all of that. I believe the spice is cardamom, if I remember correctly. I don't have the notes directly in front of me. I'll have them on, well, it's not a full review. I won't have them on screen, but this is absolutely worth a sample, and they do have them at Sephora's. I went to Sephora recently looking for Hermes H24 EDP fragrance to test it out, and I went to two different Sephora's, and I saw this at both. So if you're curious on how it smells, you want to try it on a test strip, or my recommendation, try it on your skin to see if you like it, there's testers available at Sephora. Definitely go try this one on your skin. It does not get enough love, and it's a solid fragrance. Performance is above average. It's not super strong, but it's not on the weaker side, at least for me, like some of these L'homme flankers can be. This is definitely really good stuff. Great fresh blue fragrance for the cooler months. YSL L'homme Le Parfum. A beautiful woody aromatic that I haven't spent a ton of time with. I've wore roughly a handful of times. The quality is there. The versatility. Man, is this a versatile fragrance. It's from Nishane. This is called B-612. Really, really good stuff. A lot of lavender and geranium in the tops. Very aromatic and fresh. A lot of geranium here. A lot of geranium. You're going to get a dose of woods. There's a few other things going on, but there's a little touch of this fresh, spicy tone in the background. That's what really draws me in the most to go with the lavender. The lavender is more on the creamy aromatic side than it is the soapy aromatic side. So there's a little bit of soapiness to it, but by no means would I call this a very soapy fragrance. Lightly soapy, more creamy. I just want to make sure to stress that. Definitely more on the creamy side. This is such a good fragrance. Tons of woods in here. There's Casmaran, I believe. Yep, Casmaran. I know there's some sandalwood for sure because you will smell sandalwood, this creamy wood smell throughout. I believe that's on there. Sandalwood, cedarwood. So yeah, there's a bunch of different woods in here. Oak moss, not till the deep dry down. There's a ton of different notes, but you will get this fresh green spicy tone, which is probably the oak moss. There's a little bit of other greens in there that kind of enhance that smell. It does not get warm in any way, shape, or form. It's not a heavy sheeper where it's dominated by oak moss, because I know some people don't like a lot of oak moss in a fragrance. This one's, it's pronounced. I smell it, but it doesn't take over the fragrance, even in the deep dry down. There's a lot going on here, and it smells like there's a little bit of complexity, but it doesn't smell too busy of a fragrance. But what it does smell like is something that works great dressed up and dressed down. It's signature scent-worthy stuff if you're looking for a nice luxury fragrance that's not the most expensive of luxury fragrances, because 50 mLs like this you can get in the $100 to $120 price point, depending on where you find it online. And like I said, this is signature scent-worthy type of stuff. It's not the best choice for the heat. It definitely suits the fall and mostly the fall, but it'll work great just as well in the winter. Cooler months for sure, because this is a little bit heavier of a fragrance. It wears a little bit heavier because of all the dense woods that are in here, but it's really good stuff. I need to wear this one more often, to be honest with you, because it's really good. It's Nishane B-612. Another blue that I'm just a sucker for this time of year is Versace Dylan Blue. I don't really wear this one in the summer. I have on occasion, traditionally, but it's mostly spring and fall are the seasons I like to reach for it, where it's a bit more mild. It's not too hot, not too cold. Aquatic, juicy fruit, like a thick, rich citrus type of smell. That I believe it's grapefruit. Might even be a little bit of lemon in here. I don't remember the notes exactly. There is some incense. Of course, there's ambroxan. It's definitely a shower gel scent, but it's one of the best. One of the best shower gel scents ever made, for sure. This is one that you'll get some nose fatigue, for sure. I definitely get it to where you'll think it's a weak fragrance a few hours in, but your nose just wore out. That's been my experience. This stuff actually performs really well. It's very long lasting. It has a pretty stout trail. The performance overall is just great on this one. I wouldn't call it a mega beast or anything, but it's definitely a pretty strong fragrance for the most part. You can get this one in the sub $50 price point. It's as versatile as they come. It's pulled, several compliments for me. It's known as a compliment magnet. It's just really good stuff. I mean, I don't know what else to say other than it just smells really damn good. Get out and try this one if you haven't tried it yet. It's Versace Dylan Blue. Next is a fresh fragrance that is recent to the collection. I started off with a decant. Now I'm lucky enough to have a bottle of Xerjoff Mefisto. Such a great, fresh, citrus, metallic fragrance with a lovely floral and powdery dry down, clean musk. Man, and look, it stays for a while on me. It's not the heaviest of projecting fragrances for sure, but it sure stays a while on my skin. This stuff smells so damn good. In the realm of Creed's Silver Mountain Water, without those herbaceous tones, this is all about the metallic notes, the citrus, and like I said, there's some iris, there's some rose. You're going to get this soapy floral tone, clean muskiness, a lot of clean musk. You're not going to get that heavy inky vibe because the black currant is not here, nor are the tea notes, the tea note from Silver Mountain Water. That's the two things that kind of differentiate the two fragrances. You don't have the herbal tea, you don't have the inky black currant, you have the metallics, you have the metallic smell, the citrus, and like I said, this one's definitely more focused on florals. They both have that clean musk. You can't go wrong with either fragrance. I just prefer this one. It's more my cup of tea, that infamous phrase that everybody hates sometimes. My cup of is my cup of tea and not my cup of tea. This stuff definitely is. I love this fragrance. It's good stuff. I wore it sporadically throughout the summer, but it's one that I want to continue to wear even though I'm starting to get milder, slowly getting into some cooler weather because the evenings it's been in the low 50s to high 40s. So it's right around the corner for me, and this is one of those fresh fragrances that I will definitely be reaching for personally as we move into the fall and winter seasons. Xerjoff Mefisto. Next is basically a super long-lasting fresh yuzu fragrance. This is Gentleman's Nod's first official release called Musashi, and it is a yuzu bomb. I believe it's 20%, 27% oil concentration. It stays and stays and stays forever on skin. The yuzu seems to just about never go away. So if you're a fan of yuzu fragrances, you're going to like this. And no, it does not smell exactly like L'Odyssey from Issey Miyake. Because I know when... Oh, there it is. Because I know when people hear yuzu, that's going to be the first fragrance they think of because it's the most famous yuzu-dominated fragrance of all time for men. You're going to get a variety of tea notes. It's fresh, it's herbal, it's light woods. They're more on the blonde wood side. This has some different facets to the fragrance, but the one constant is this fresh, relaxing green tone with this juicy yuzu smell that never goes away. And like I said, the oil concentration definitely makes this one go the distance. It says eau de parfum on the bottle, but it's actually a pure parfum because it's 27%. So that's kind of a misprint. I wish I would have... I don't know if Chris did that on purpose. I wish I would have been able to let him know that it's actually a pure parfum. He's actually shortchanging himself on the print on the bottle. It's such a good fragrance too. I've been having it on my my rotation table. I've been meaning to reach for this one. Smelling it right here now definitely sparks the interest of me wanting to wear this. This will be in this week's rotation at some point. Get a sample and try this. You can get carded samples from Gentleman's Nod. There's a 10% off code down in my link tree if you want to check it out. There's a shave set for this as well for you wet shavers, but definitely give the fragrance a try. If you like yuzu, this is definitely worth getting your nose on. Great fresh fragrance that has plenty of power for the cold. It's Musashi from Gentleman's Nod. Gotta have some fresh iris in my life, and Prada L'homme Low is my choice for the warmer months, you know, the warmer spring days, the summer, but the milder days where it's cooler. It's not all about Prada L'homme Intense for me because the original Prada L'homme is still strong enough to handle its own in the fall, the winter, the early spring when we have those milder, cool days all the way through the snow. This is a good choice. It's so beautiful, soapy and powdery, peppery spice, such a great fragrance. I'm so glad to have this fragrance. Don't get me wrong, I love Intense, I love Prada L'homme Low, but the base DNA deserves all the praise and all the respect because it's such a great fragrance. You got to have a good base to be able to make some really good flankers, and this is a really good base. This is the iris dominant fragrance that kind of started me down the path of really loving iris. Iris is my favorite note in fragrance, and this is one of the best. It's more on the soapy side, sure. It's not the waxy lipsticky type, and it's not the earthy Florentine natural iris. This is soapy because Prada always does soapy really well, whether it's neroli, iris, or lavender. Nobody does soapy florals like they do. I gotta give them their due. And this is really good stuff for the fall and winter. A lot of people will think of it for the office, but it's good for more than just being in the office. This is great casually. This is great in the evenings. Anytime you just need a clean look, you have a nice crisp and clean look, regardless of the fit, whether it's a clean white Oxford or just a fit where you feel like you're fresh to death. This is one of those fragrances that pairs well with it because it's just so damn clean. Prada L'homme. My favorite from the House of Creed. It's kind of a high quality take on Old Spice. I know that's what kind of turns off some people, but I'll tell you what, it takes that scent profile and does it right. We're talking about Creed Viking. This is my favorite from the house. This stuff is great. It's a citrus fresh, hot and spicy aromatic that's not too hot. Like it's fresh and minty, but there's a warmth to it at the same time. It's got that aftershave feel of Old Spice. So good. A lot of pink pepper here. More on the spicy side than the sweet spicy side with the pink pepper. Like I said, there's some minty freshness. There's a few different citruses. Of course, there's aromatics. The quality is top tier, and performance will surprise you. It's not a very loud fragrance, but on my skin, it hangs around for a long time. Soft type of projection and sillage doesn't really reach out. I mean, in the first hour, it's going to be loud, just like any fragrance. But after that, it's going to be a bit close to the skin. It's more for a clean look attire, kind of like how Prada L'homme is the fragrance we spoke of before this, where if you're in more of a professional setting, for example, and you need something that's going to go the distance of the day, but not really reach out and push too much off of your skin, fragrances like Creed Viking will definitely do the trick because it smells of quality and it smells of utter masculinity. This is a man's type of scent profile. Really, really good stuff for the fall and winter seasons. It's Creed Viking. Definitely my choice in the Invictus line for the cooler months. I don't really wear this one in the summer that much because it's just so damn powerful on my skin. We're talking about Invictus Legend from Paco Rabanne. This is a tester bottle, that's why it says the name of the fragrance on the front. This one's all about warm amber, salted grapefruit, a heavy dose of bay leaf to give this herbal tone. And it's super strong. The first 2 to 3 hours are pretty hefty in the projection department, and the sillage is no joke afterwards. And this is every bit of a 10 to 12 hour fragrance on my skin. This stuff just goes and goes. This is one of the most powerful blues I own, and it deserves to be in milder, cooler weather for sure. It can be a bit overbearing in the summer. It makes it really salty when it's super hot and humid outside. It really intensifies that sea salt note that's in here. I don't like too salty of a fragrance, and depending on the setting, this can come across as a little too salty for me sometimes. As the wearer, it's all about the personal wearing experience for me, and that's why I kind of move this one over to the fall and winter seasons as when I like to pull this one out. Again, I love the way this smells. It's one of my favorite blue fragrances. It's just not that good for me personally in the warmer weather. But I'll tell you what, fall weather, this stuff shines. This is one of my favorite blues for fall. That's why it's in this video. It's been featured in another video recently because it's really good stuff for the fall, especially if you like mass appealing blues like I do. It's Invictus Legend from Paco Rabanne. Next, this is the Roja Parfums fragrance I've worn the most this year. It's not too much for the heat, but it does that much better in the fall. I've worn it a few times recently. We're talking about the discontinued Roja Parfums Oligarch Parfum. This is such a great fragrance. This is a dense, thick, and sweet citrus. Very mouth-watering. Beautiful, delectable type of citrus. Lovely dose of some light florals in the background, some more dense greens. There's some woods here. There's a ton of complexity, as you would expect with Roja Parfums fragrances, but it just smells very well put together. High quality, dresses up, dresses down, signature scent type of stuff. Kind of like Nishane's B-612, though not the same scent profile. They accomplish pretty much the same goal. Where you can wear it for anything, you're going to smell clean and a bit of luxury. Because it does smell like an expensive, I mean, it is an expensive fragrance, but it smells like an expensive fragrance as well. It's very well put together. It's one of my personal favorites in my collection. I'm super happy to have this. Unfortunately, it's been pulled off the market for one reason or another. Hopefully, this fragrance oil makes its way back to the market at some point, regardless of how they got to make that happen, because it's just that damn good, and it's absolutely perfect for the upcoming seasons. That's why it's in this damn video. Again, it's Roja Parfums Oligarch Parfum. Last but not least, if you're looking for something on the fresher side, I've talked about Coach Platinum recently. That's a bit more dense and sweet. It's great for fall. It really is. But if you want the fresher take on that scent profile, you can always go with the original Coach for Men. Here you're going to get a lovely dose of this juicy pear. This is much more on the fresh side. Even though Coach Platinum has the sweet pineapple note, it's a much sweeter fragrance than this. This is much fresher. You're going to have this nice buttery suede note in the dry down, ambergris, amberwood type of feel. Kind of gives this ambroxan woody feel. And that juicy pear, it really, really stands out. Sure, it's on the more synthetic side, but I'll tell you what, first-hand experience with this is it's extremely pleasant to others and passers-by when you walk by them. In the early stages of the fragrance, because it does get a lot closer to the skin after about an hour and a half or so. But it's a really good fragrance that you can get really, really cheap. This does perfectly fine in the warmer weather, but if you're looking for something that's a bit fresh, not too heavy on spices like we talked about in the beginning of the video, you're not big on tobacco fragrances, you don't want to smell like booze, like rum or anything like that. You just like something easygoing that you're going to like and everybody around you is probably going to like smelling on you. Something fresh. You want to go this route. This is a good choice for that. It's Coach for Men. Well, that's the 10 that I have for you today. And until next time, do me a real quick favor. Go ahead and like, comment, subscribe, because I do appreciate all the feedback and I love hearing from you guys. What of these 10 have you tried? Did any of these spark your interest? Try to get your nose on them. Get a sample, like with the YSL fragrance, for example. You can go to Sephora and spray that one. The Gentleman's Nod fragrance, for example. You can get a carded sample from the website, and so on. Definitely get some samples and try these if anything you heard here today interests you, or maybe it's something you were looking into and you're just gathering opinions and thoughts from others to kind of help you formulate what you want to do and what you're going to go out and sample. I hope this video was helpful for some of you in some way, and until next time, I will say if you get your hands on any of these 10 and you give them a spray now, you might end up thanking me later. Have a good one, guys.